Sam, it's nice to have you on here, man.
Thank you, my
How
man.
you been?
Appreciate it. Doing well. Doing well.
How would you introduce yourself to someone who maybe doesn't know you?
Absolutely. Good question. So I think my journey started, if you were to give a 10-second summary, I'm like the guy that helps other people connect and become the guy in the city. And that would be me. If you want the long version, it was like I went on a very big journey. I was part of a very big company, a dating company, and I transitioned, learned business. And from there, I became a guy that went from city to city to city and conquered it, not only with women, but with status and access and opportunities and network, and it's led me all the way to 36 different countries around the world. That would be the kind of the brief summary, but I'm sure there's longer versions of it
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah, we'll get into all that later, but I wanted to firstly ask you, what was your childhood like?
My childhood, wow, deep questions right off the bat. It depends on what you want to say. Like, what has everyone else said? Have they said traumatic things, or have they said like very happy
Well,
memories?
depends, like, right, like, did you grow up with a lot of money? Did you grow up, like, extroverted, like, etc.?
Yeah, absolutely.
What were, like, the most important things, the most vibrant things in terms of your childhood?
Yeah, for sure. That's a good question though. So I grew up in a split family, mom, dad, never together. So we didn't have the most amount of money. Knowing growing up and now being kind of the age that they were doing the best that they could, which was fantastic. Looking back now, if I was in their position, I'd be very terrified. Like, not a lot of money, having to work all the time. And but they gave me the best childhood that I could ever have. Now, within that, whenever you have childhood, you have little disagreements, you have little, traumas that start to rear its head, especially with the
Yeah.
relationship. So I think growing up with a single mother, it's definitely, you'll probably notice within everything, within the scope of where we surround ourselves with, in sort of the dating relationship spectrum, as well as other areas. There's going to be this like mummy issue. When you grow up as single mother, it's very hard to get that masculine essence. So I say, I grew up, I was very, I was social enough, and then I went to an all boys Catholic school around the age of 10. And I only realized this recently. I was like, wow, that was a big catalyst. I was very good with girls, up to the age of 10. And then I went to this all boys Catholic school, and I never had any, in that pivotal time, I didn't have that female connection. Got into a sport that I loved, which was golf. And that's a very isolating sport. It's not very, team, orientated. And when I got into that, I became, a bit of a loner. I think I missed those years where I was grinding away, wanting to become a professional, grinding away alone with my thoughts, with music. Even back in those days, we didn't even have Spotify, and none of that stuff ever existed. So it was like by yourself. So I was very good to talking to Janice and Jim at the country club, but the 60, 65-year-old people, but I wasn't very good at talking to people my age. So I would say that I didn't grow up with a lot of money. We did the best we could, which was fantastic. And I didn't grow up with many social skills. I could talk to people one on one, but in group mentalities, I sucked. I was terrible. And around pretty girls, I couldn't even talk to any of them. I would stammer my words. I would fumble. I would just become a completely different person. I would try to put on a persona that I'm like, oh, they'll like this. And it just ended in catastrophe. Or I'd found out a girl would like me, and I would act completely weird and different. Now I couldn't control
Mm.
how I was acting, and yeah, lots of traumatic events happen through there. And when I look back, and you probably think looking back at the age I am, I think all of these things were just absolutely necessary for me to become the person that I need to become today. So I look back and I was like, I'm glad that we didn't have a lot of money. That really it fired me up and got
Mm.
me into entrepreneurship very soon. As a young kid. I was glad I didn't have social skills, or wasn't able to attract the girls that I wanted to, because again, it led me into the idea of where I am right now, and just like, oh, okay, like
Mm.
this is something that I want to perfect, or at least get control over. I think every guy just wants to get a little bit of control over it. Just
Mm.
be not at the whim or the mercy. There's one, I always like this. There's one sector of the male population that thinks they can do everything. They can get girls, they can make money, they can fight. Then there's this other sector that just don't believe they can do anything right. And I think it was on that spectrum a little bit, because I was getting
Mm.
bullied at high school and stuff. And so, yeah, I kind of left high school. And I always remember there's a memory where I transformed over the years from these like childhood memories to a guy that none of the high school guys could even relate to, because they were like, oh, we grew up with you for like 7 years, and then you become this different person. And I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what you have to do. So I have no connection with any of them. I don't talk to any of them because I'm a completely different person than I was back then. So that's kind of like the brief
Mm.
summary of childhood and what sort of how it shaped me into who I am today.
Mm, interesting. You mentioned you weren't very extroverted. How was dating when, let's say, in high school, college, like your early 20s, maybe when you
It
were
didn't,
young?
it didn't exist, brother. It didn't exist. That's why. No, not at all. Like I'm talking zero, 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 zero. I remember going to a dance and getting my first kiss by this girl named Rachel, and it was like a good moment. And then I went to high. Then I went back the next day. I was super pumped, and I had everybody in the school just like ragging on me, bagging me out, making fun of me. So I was like, I had all those experiences. Or I'd like a girl, and then I didn't know she was dating another guy from my high school, and then everyone ganged
Oh,
up on me to say that I was like big. Or
oh,
other moments where I liked a girl, I'd be chatting with her on MSN. Back in the day, this is probably like older than you. I don't know how old you are, but like we used to chat on MSN, and I had a girl, and I was dancing. I remember I was dancing with her online to Empire State of Mind. This memory is crystal clear. I think I've told this online. There was a girl that I liked a lot. Amazing girl. She was like cute. I don't know how I game connected with her. I never met her in my entire life. We started like Zoom calling, Skyping back in the day, which it was. And I remember I liked her and wanted to ask her out. And I kept waiting and waiting and waiting. And I remember one day we were dancing to this Empire State of Mind. And her boyfriend comes in, was like, yo, what's up, bro? And fucking hang up the phone on me. And I was just like shattered for weeks. I was like, oh my God. So I had all these like moments where it didn't exist because I couldn't read social skills. I couldn't understand what was going on. I was like, why is it me? Like, what am I doing wrong? And that's what every guy I think has, where they're like, if they didn't have that. So I came from, I wasn't like a really bad case. Like I could talk to people, I could understand people. It wasn't as if I was like socially retarded, but I just wasn't getting the results. I just didn't know what I was doing wrong. And I think that's what a lot of people are. They don't know what they're doing wrong, or they're in social situations and they don't understand why people like that person more than that person. I didn't understand those concepts, and I think that's why it didn't exist. And I didn't go to college or anything after it. I tried to become a pro golfer, and then around 2014 is where I got introduced to the company that I ended up working for a lot of years later, which was
mm,
super cool and changed my life completely.
mm. You know, I feel like a lot of guys when they're young, they not that they struggle with girls, but they just struggle with people in general. Like like
Yeah,
speaking to people. Like man, like going to the gym, bro, and speaking just to dudes. Everybody like talks about you gotta. If you see a girl at the gym that you like, speak to her. Yeah, but also like speak to the fucking dude that's fucking jacked and just socialize, right?
yeah.
A lot of guys are
100%.
just
You're on the money. You're on the money.
so
Exactly.
fucking incapable of starting conversations, and they
Well,
they, they
it's a
say, man,
skill. It's a skill in itself, and that's the thing. I was like, oh, girls, girls, girls. I was never like that either. And then I know a lot of guys that were like that. We're just like, oh, okay, this is a skill that's like for presenting, for business, for this, for that, for entrepreneurship that I was in. All of these skills. So it was like almost like a necessity. It was like, yeah, yeah, you get girls. That's the byproduct. But like it's also you get to all these other opportunities that you don't even know you need, that like ordering coffee, getting a little discount here, being able to do this, that. Like it's just so nuanced that these guys overlook that. They're just like, oh, girls, 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 that's it. But it's, yeah, as you said,
Mm,
for everybody. The guy at the gym, the fucking checkout guy, the do
yeah.
so much of it.
Yeah, there's this one stat that like 1 in 3 guys hasn't had sex in a year nowadays, and
Crazy. It's probably even worse now.
I don't even go as far as saying that probably 1 in 2 a lot of the times, or like in the future 100% that's gonna be it. Why do you think that is?
Well, for starters, it's hard for other people to believe that stat because you're in like a little bit of an echo chamber where everyone around, like I've got
Mm,
killers all around me, like they're just crushing it, they're having a great time.
yeah.
But if you were to ask me, like, because the dating landscape over the last couple of years has definitely changed from COVID, has definitely changed, and guys might think it's changed overnight. It's been like a 6 7 year process. Eventually, coming, it's trickled down from I call it the Uberification of the dating market, right? So remember back in the day where Uber like dominated cabs. Remember, I don't know if you're aware, but when Uber came to market, it was like yeah, 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 and then like overnight, bang, everyone was taking Ubers. It was like crazy. This was in like 2015, 2014. Like it just decimated
Mm.
cabs. Before that, we had to get a cab. Like I don't know, how old are you? So I can know the reference.
So I'm 18.
Okay, perfect. So you definitely didn't experience this.
Nah.
This is back in the day. So what happened was, I talk about it like take the year 2000 or in the early 2000s. If a girl had to go on a date with a guy, she would, and she would learn a little bit of information. Then she'd go on another date, and it wasn't uncommon for people to go on 4 or 5 dates. That was not uncommon because that's how you got to know someone. You give them a call, hey, let's go here, let's go there, blah blah blah. And so you would invest like 12 hours into getting to, like a girl would invest 12 hours into getting to know a dude. And she'd have like multiple dudes and everything to choose the
Mm.
best one. That 12 hours in 2015, 16, 17, when Instagram came out, that got cut from 12 hours to about 25 seconds. And you know, humans, we love to save time. Kind of like why Uber is so good compared to cabs, because Uber is like quick time. You know the times, it's quick, it's effective. You don't have to fumble around with your card. I don't know if you've been to a cab, but it's the most
Mm.
disorientated, unconventional thing ever. And so Uber just streamlined it. And so what happens is the girl that took 12 hours to be able to get a lot of information about the dude, his hierarchy, his confidence, his social skills, his ability to be able to joke around, what's he like in person, his friendship, his access, his network, she can get from looking and watching videos and photos on your Instagram. So that shifted the market completely. So if you're able to get that, she was investing 12 hours. Now she can do the same amount of info download in 20 seconds. Like that just completely
Yeah.
shifted the market, right? It's just like recently with this AI, ChatGPT launching their Gen 4 AO or whatever it is, where you're able to make these like Studio Ghibli fucking videos and photos and everything. It's this new kind of trend like
Yeah.
that. And you'll be able to you're able to draw on your iPad to make YouTube thumbnails. That just decimated graphic designers in one second.
Yeah.
And this is what
They're
happens. People
cooked
are like,
right now, man.
and this is what happened in the dating market. They're like, the one in two is because the guys were like, oh yeah, back in the day, Becky and Sarah, that were the eights, nines, and tens, would stay in Saskatchewan, or would stay in Wichita, or would stay in those little hometown. But now she's getting flown out to Miami, Dubai, London, LA. And so these
Yeah.
guys are not, there's no girls for them to do. And then they don't get that reference experiences. They don't get anything. So they become a guy that's just lonely. They either pay for sex, they pay for OF girls, they pay for this like mini connection online with webcam girls, or they just jack off and they're very happy and they play Call of Duty all day.
Mm.
Like, so the whole market is like definitely changed. Not in a bad way. Like people are just like, oh fucking, like the red pill will be like, well, this is just cause and effect. That is it. Cause and effect. This has happened time and time again. Back in the 1800s, fat, curvy girls were the dime piece, were the prized possession. 1700s. If the fatter you were, the more luxury and more status icon you were. Now, it
What?
went back to,
Really?
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Because it
Never
means
heard
that
about that.
you weren't a slave and you didn't work out in the sun all day. Like the whiter the girl,
Mm.
the fatter the girl, it means that she had food. It means that she was from luxury. Now you come to we go the 1900s, early 1900s. It was like these stick figures, zero, like low body fat. Now you went into like the 2010s, you had the Kim Kardashian effect, where it was big curvy hips, big booty, big titties, and that's what we've been trialing. That's what we've been running for the last 10 years. It's kind of like fashion things. So the guys are the one in two guys. Um, what is going to happen to them? I'll give you the playbook. What is going to happen to them in the next 5 to 10 years? You ever watch Blade Runner 2049 with
Yeah, I did. I did.
Ryan Gosling? Yeah. So he's got this thing called Joy, Joi, and it was like this girlfriend AI robot thing. That's going to happen. Those guys are fine. They're going to get their girlfriend, but they're just going to be artificial robot girlfriends, right? And the guys that are still going to get the girls, they're still going to get the girls, right? Now, That's what's happened. But again, it's like you could say, oh well, girls are like they're starting to see status and money and this and that, and yeah, that's cool, that's fine, yeah. And and what are you gonna do about it, Tom? What are you gonna do about it, Steve? Like what the fuck? Okay, that happens. What are you gonna? Oh no, like that. And so they just like cuck themselves into becoming this guy that just like jacks off and does nothing and just like blames the
Yeah.
world and all of his problems. It's like, well, level the fuck up, man. Like, there's no other choice. If you got no other choice and you want this, level the fuck up. Like, I could have been in the thing. Oh, poor me, poor me, poor me. It's like, or I could have just been like, and then all it comes down to the 1 in 2 guys that can't get laid. It's because they have this ego that is like, no, I don't need help. No, I don't need to do that. Like, if they just drop that fucking ego, they'd be able to learn some information, but their brain has put like this glass wall up, being like, no, 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 and they've got this like, and then they go MGTOW, and then they go red pit, like and they start blaming other people. It's like,
Yeah.
motherfucker, you are the problem, right? So
Yeah.
I'll
Another
never
thing
give
is just like guys just being mad at women. I want to get into that soon, but first of all, I want to say before that, even a six pack doesn't like it's not worth what it used to be before. Like,
Of
bro,
course, yeah, the,
like,
the value has
bro,
changed.
like nowadays, every guy in the gym has a six pack. Every guy on the internet has a six pack. A girl can choose between 20 different body types in her DMs,
For
a lot
sure.
more. And
Yeah.
so I still can't understand how some guys say that I don't need to go to the gym. Like, girls don't care about that. Like, okay, maybe they've heard like the girls prefer dad bods, which is just not true. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, like that's like the prerequisite, and also then work on your finance as well, work on your status. Those are long term things. But like, putting a gym as a part of your day, really, it doesn't take that much, to be honest. And
Brother, you can walk 10,000 steps. You don't even need a gym. They're like, oh, the first thing they'll be like, oh, well, I don't have the money for a gym. All right, motherfucker, there's a thing called a pavement outside. Go do some burpees. Go
bro,
do some push-ups. You got your own body. Like your own
yeah,
body is the weights that you need.
yeah, it's crazy. And
Yeah.
guys are also like socially so fucking awkward. Like, they're afraid to approach girls, and these used to be me, bro, a lot. So what I'd do was just it sounds stupid, but it's social lubrication, we used to call it.
Yep.
It's just like
Mhm.
basically you just go on the way to the gym. I just say hi to random people. I just want this one word, even to the fucking fat purple hair or fucking
Yep.
LGBT whatever. I just say hi, and it's just like you say that to fucking 5-10 people on the way to the gym. By the time you're in that gym, you say hi to the guys in the locker room. Then you say hi to that pretty girl on the stairmaster, and you
Mhm.
strike up a conversation with her. But it's like you just get used to it. But how would you go about giving advice to a guy that's afraid to start conversation, doesn't know how to start conversation with a girl he likes? He sees that girl, he keeps staring at her, but he can't convince himself to go talk to her.
Yeah, absolutely. So it comes down to a couple of different areas that are going on in his brain. Obviously, he's scared about his status. He's scared about the girl rejecting him. He's scared about like kind of losing something. And the best way that I would say is not only trying to flip that, number one, but number two, it's like, okay, well, if the guy's like, okay, I'm going to approach the pretty girl at the gym, it's like, motherfucker, let's start on level one rather than level 15. Like, guys are having trouble at the gym. All guys have trouble in the gym because it's kind of a weird environment, right? So it's like, let's start at level one, brother. Let's go up. And as you said, just go start talking to people. You're exactly correct on that. The social momentum you get from talking to the checkout chick at the grocery store,
Mm-hmm.
talking to people, talking to your Uber driver, talking to different people. I think the very first thing that he has to start doing is just talking in general more. And the more you can talk,
Yeah.
the more you feel like it's not a scary thing to talk to people. Again, some people are going to like it, some people are going to hate it. But if the guy that he's like, okay, well, I see the girl and she's at my work, and I have to. It's like, let's just start with some people that if you do mess it up, which most likely you will, it's not going to have social ramifications. He's like, yeah, I'm gonna ask out the boss at my work. It's like I've heard everything, and I'm like,
Mm.
let's start with level one, brother. Let's start with let's push those brakes, right? But the guy that can be like, okay, well, if Sam says go talk, the average guy, if you don't know this, the average guy talks less than 1 hour a day in actual volume of talking.
Really?
Girls, 3 to 4 hours at least, minimum. And so just jacking up your numbers, you're going to understand that making noises and making kind of voices in your esophagus and your voice box is not the scariest thing, because they go up and like
Mm.
they're freaking fuck out, right? And so it's like, okay, well, let's just lower the barrier entry and let's not go for the hot girl. Let's just go for people in general, as you said. So that's where I always start. Like, my nights always started, or when I would go talk to people, it'd always be just, it wouldn't be like the hottest of hot girls. It would be like just people. Just starting to get to know that, right? And then there's other
Yeah.
things too. It's like, well, when you level up your life, when you get a bit better, you feel a bit more confident in yourself. Like you've got some value behind yourself, when you've got some actual substance, and that allows them to be able to have some inner beliefs, some self worth, to be able to go up and talk to people like they're what they're saying actually has value again. And then there's some certain things they're like, oh, like, okay, well, I'll go to the nightclub, I'll do this, and it's like blaring music and the thing, and they're just like, oh, I'll try that. It's like, okay, try in the daytime first so you can actually be heard. Then you can try the nighttime, because and try to make it as easy as for yourself. Some of these guys just try to make it so difficult right off the get go. They say like, see, it doesn't work. I told you. And it's like, no, you just made it incredibly difficult for yourself. you know?
Mm.
Yeah.
Do you remember Omegle? That site?
Omegle, yeah, back in the day, yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So when I was like fucking 15, right? I'll also be fucking scared of chicks, and even at like 16 and early,
Yep.
like maybe 17, um, because I had those times where I'd start a conversation and I wouldn't know what to say because I was so in my head that you know.
Yep.
So I was like, okay, how about I try an Omegle? Like, right? That's like the easiest level, right?
hmm
Right. So I started like doing that like a day or two, and I just started saying just like obnoxious things because I realized that there's no pressure in real life. There kind
hmm
of is, but that girl is gonna forget about you within half an hour, right?
Yep.
Um, but I got so like easily confident, or just like so easily, I would say like confident stuff. Like
Yep.
I'm trying to give an example. Just make random jokes, poke at a girl,
hmm
etc. That then I started applying in real life, and it was only like a day, but an evening I spent doing that. That
hmm
kind of completely changed my game in real life when I started speaking to girls. Now, obviously, I was still nervous, but over time, man, and there's no secret. You see, this is the thing that pisses me off. A lot of guys are looking for the secret tactic or the secret
Yep.
hack. It's stuff that you heard before and you think it doesn't work because you didn't try hard enough, but
hmm
you gotta try again. And guys
Yeah.
just they try something once and they think this doesn't work. Let me look for the next solution, next secret, right? Next YouTube video. How about
Yep.
you
Yep.
try the thing that you heard about before?
Yeah, we try to put some actions in before just like consuming content. Yeah,
Yeah.
facts. Absolutely.
And
It's a
I
really good
mentioned
idea that
this.
you did that. I don't know many people that did that, but that's very smart of you to do it.
It's like it's so because in real life, a lot of guys they can't convince them. They can conduct their legs to move towards the girls, even start a conversation. I don't know, girl,
Yep.
it's easy. So back then, and if you fuck up in the middle of conversation, she's just gonna skip you. Like, who cares?
Yeah,
Okay.
of course. Yeah.
So that's much less friction. So it's like
That's
it's
cool.
the
It's a cool
easier.
thing. Yeah, that's something that everyone can. That's very actionable that they can do like today.
Yeah,
Yeah, good.
exactly. Yeah. Now, I mentioned before that the guys get mad at women. There's this thing called red pill rage. I think you know about it,
Okay,
right?
Red Pill Rage. Probably heard about it. Yeah, for sure.
When guys just think now that every girl is a hoe, and that what, fuck these hoes. I don't need girls. I don't need girls. So what are you
Hmm.
gonna do now? Go to
Yeah.
dudes, bro? Like at the end of the day, we want girls, right? That's right, guys. Um, but guys just say that go into this monk mode where they don't talk to any girls or whatever. But they don't realize that at the end of the day, you make the money, you get the body, but then you still want girls. That's like
Of
wealth,
course.
health, wealth, and relationships are the
hmm
three like things that you want in your life. And I think that if you neglect the women, these two are gonna fix itself. Not that it's gonna fix itself when you gain these two. There are a lot of rich guys that are still awkward with women.
Of course.
Okay,
Yeah.
and it's like, what would you say to a guy that thinks that okay, it has just given up on women? Says that all of them are the same.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it depends. Like, if they're consuming that red pill content, that's the first thing that's like really hypnotizing them into thinking like that. Now, I know the fresh and fits. I've met them. I know,
Mm,
a lot of the people in the space, and I come from a different thing. So I came from the cold approach background back in the day where we were actually teaching guys. I was
mm,
part of RSD. I was an RSD instructor, and then from there, I went on my own journey to better myself, to get better and better and better. So I kind of really deviated away from this. But what's going to happen is whatever you concentrate, like this is an old law of attraction technique, which is whatever you concentrate on, it grows and gets bigger. It has more energy behind it. So think about your thoughts. Like think about like something you think about and you think about it over and over and over and over again. It gets bigger. It gets bigger. It becomes grander. Let's say you say that awkward text message to a girl and you just continuously, oh, that was a dumb thing to say. Why did I say that? But it just gets bigger and it's a bigger black hole and it's a bigger black hole. Well, think about that when you're thinking about the red pill stuff, like every girl's a hoe, and then they do a very smart thing. You got to understand the marketing strategy. Where if they get OnlyFans and escorts onto the show, they say dumb things, they clown the girls on the dumb things, the clips go viral, and because like clips of negativity go faster and more virality than clips of positivity, right? So you have to be like, okay,
yeah.
well, they're doing this on purpose for a particular type of reason, and props to them as well. Great stuff. They found the loophole. But for the other guys, they're just thinking every girl has an OnlyFans, every girl's a hoe, every girl's this and every girl's that. Well, if you're looking in Miami and the sample pool is Miami
Mm.
Brickle, yeah, absolutely, maybe. But there's beautiful girls in the world. So I was like, okay, well, think about the thought. This is just a thought experiment that I'll say to the guys, which is, do you think it's beneficial to think every girl is a hoe? Or do you think it's beneficial to think that there are some good girls out there and I just have to go find those good girls? It's like one
Mm.
is going to create the idea that you don't want to have, which is every girl's a hoe. Or the other one is there's beautiful girls out there, I just have to go find them. And what you'll find is that whatever you start to concentrate on, you'll start to see more of. It's a thing called a reticular activation system, right? And so I'll give you a shout out to you, right? So have a look at your room right now and tell me all the yellow things in your room.
Well, the fucking lamp behind
Yep.
me, like that picture, right?
Mhm.
What else is yellow? I don't think anything else. I don't see anything else that's yellow.
Are you sure? Do a good look. Have a look at this yellow. Yellow is really important in this. So the lamp, yep. What else?
Dude, I must be colorblind or something, but I don't see anything else yellow here.
Anything on the computer screen yellow?
Well, on the computer screen, like, what do you mean?
Like any yellow color or anything?
Bro, I
No.
don't think so.
Cool. Cool. All right. Close your eyes. Tell me all the green things.
All the green things. I know I have a fake plant on there. All the green things.
All right. Open your eyes and have a look. See the way the green things are.
Have that plant over there. Shit, these are the two colors that are not very often
It's
on
not
there.
very
So
prevalent.
yeah,
Maybe
I
it's
don't
a
have
bit
any.
of different thing, but it's a good experiment to do by yourself. Is to have a look at one thing and then see the other. It's wherever the
Ah,
value is. So if the value is like I'm a fresh and fit, or I'm a whatever podcast. I'm a follower of this. Yeah, absolutely. You learn a bunch of information, but it's also you get your mindset on horse. Then you think every girl's a whore, right? But if I say like, okay, well, this is now valuable, and this is what you're going to identify as valuable, which is beautiful girls around the world. They're amazing relationships. You don't fall into the perpetuation of that every girl has an OnlyFans or an escort or a webcam model or a whore. It's like there are beautiful girls, and you're going to have to fight against this at the start. And if they do, and they start to see that, they're going to notice that there are beautiful girls in the world that they want to date them. There are beautiful girls. It's like I tend to think that every girl is attracted to me, and you're like, that's preposterous, Sam. That doesn't make sense. I'm like, well, the opposite is thinking that every girl isn't. So I'd rather think the thing that actually helps me.
yeah.
When I think girls are attracted to me, I start to behave and act in a certain way that is very attractive to girls. And what do you know? Girls start to get attracted to me. And I'm like, oh, so it
Yeah.
fulfills my belief. And so from there, it's like, when these guys, they go their own way and they give up, it's like, well, what other game are you gonna fucking play, my dude? Like, what are you gonna play? Are you gonna just like sit around and be like, I give up on life? And if you give up on this, it's like this ain't that hard. Like,
Mm,
it's like if a guy does fitness, oh, I can't get fit, I can't get this. It's like, what else is your opportunity, your other kind of reality? Just eat and get fat and just hate the world. It's like, brother, everything is in your complete control. Oh well,
yeah,
I'm not good looking like you. I wasn't like this either. It's like you're sculpting yourself, you're crafting your mind, your attitude, your beliefs, the character. Well, you can play a whole character if you want. Develop a character, right? Not even you,
yeah,
so you don't feel like, oh, she's rejecting the character, not me. Right? Do something that's going to be beneficial
mm,
for you. But these guys love. So what happens is they get the sympathy, they get the attention, they get the validation from other people
yeah,
feeling sorry for them, and that is a bad negative spiral. And they're like, oh, poor
yeah.
me. And then like Jessica at work's like, oh, Aaron, you just have to wait for the girl. And they're like in love with Jessica and fucking all this. Like,
And
it's just a
Jessica's never gonna fuck him. Jessica's fucking someone else.
yeah, you're like 200, you're 250 pounds and you're overweight and you don't exercise and you're like, poor me, and you eat Doritos and watch Netflix. It's like, okay, well, just cut the shit out. So if
Mm,
guys could do one thing, I would say that if they do start to align themselves with more long-term gratification things than short-term. So you've got a craving. You need some chocolate. You need something. All right.
mm,
Well, how long? Like, can I push it back 30 minutes, an hour? Can I drink some water? Do I feel like
yeah,
that? Like that's short term. All right. I want to go get a girl. Cool. That's your body. Your DNA telling you. It's like instead of going on a fucking Pornhub, go on something else, or Cornhub, I should say. Um, go talk to like five girls. That's your body telling you, like, my dude, get up
mm,
and go meet some girls. This is your DNA speaking. So, but
yeah.
a lot of them just short term, short term, short term. Oh, I want to watch this new show. Oh, I want to do this. I want to do that. It's like, my guy, never going to make it if that's the attitude, for sure.
And you see, even if a guy is attractive but he doesn't believe in himself, you can take the same exact guy, but
Yep.
one believes that okay, every girl wants me, and the other one will be like, I hope I get lucky. I hope that this girl might like me, etc. The way he will act, like he might not realize it,
Mhm.
but in one scenario, that girl will want him. In the second one, he won't get a second date ever.
Yeah,
And
100%. And guys are in different levels. I deal with a lot of guys that have handled their money situation, so they're good there. So they have different problems as well. They have time problems, they have priority problems. But the guys that are just starting, it's
mm,
like, okay, well, the reason why you don't feel good enough for the girl is because you are not. Like, like your body is telling you exactly what is happening. Like it ain't thing. And it's like, okay, well, put down the energy drinks, put down the fucking pizza, go work out, go do some stuff and feel good about yourself. Then you might be like, oh,
mm,
some girls find me attractive. Cool, of course, because I'm on my shit. I'm on my grind. One thing, you don't have to
yeah.
do a monk mode. I'm not telling you, oh, go monk mode till 2035. Yeah, that's the way to go. No, I'm like, it's not, I'm not saying that. It's just like handle your money, handle your fitness, handle girls. Good. It ain't that hard, man. There's like astrophysics and fucking quantum mechanics. That's hard. Talking to a
Mm,
girl ain't hard, my G. It's like an energetic thing.
yeah.
It's not even anything. It's just you stopping
And
yourself.
also, I don't know if you're gonna agree with me on this one, but I'd say that it's also guys should not shy away from fucking up. Like let's say, oh man, that girl cheated on me. I was a year and a half with her. That's what happened to me. A lot of
Hmm.
guys would say,
Crazy.
man, that was a waste of time. I say, that was not a waste of time. Now I know if she wants that guy friend, it's not a
Mhm.
good idea. Now I
Sure.
know so many mistakes that I was so naive back then. But
Yeah.
I don't see it as a mistake because if I wouldn't have fucked up back then, I might have
Mhm.
fucked up later on, right? So I'm glad that hey, at least I went through it already once,
That's
and
good. That's good.
and
There's
guys
two
like
things that are good, they're gonna happen, but that's crazy that happened, my man. That's crazy.
yeah,
Two things. What did
especially
you learn from it? What was like the one thing you learned from it?
oh, definitely never like fall out of frame. Like let's say
Okay.
I took an outfit, right? I was getting changed with her. We were ready to go out for dinner, and she was like, "That doesn't really look good." And I changed my outfit just to please her. I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Man." Now I'm looking like that was so weak. I liked it, but she didn't like it, so I changed
For
how
sure.
my beliefs are based on her.
Okay.
Never do that again.
Interesting,
And
interesting.
yeah, and if I have something that's truly bothering me, bro, don't be too pussy to say it. Like the guy
Just say
friends,
it.
even
Yeah,
if
speak
he's
up.
gay, okay, that's like something that I genuinely didn't like, and stuff like that, like
For sure.
um, then you stand on your beliefs, okay, and if the girl doesn't like it, you don't have to change her. You just respect
Mhm.
yourself, and okay, should have done
To
that,
learn that to
and
learn that at
yeah.
18 is insane.
I'm glad I went through it. Again, I don't look at it as a waste of a
Yeah.
year, right? I look at it as a learning lesson.
Now, there
But
might be some things that come up later. You're 18, but like 23,
yeah,
24, there might be some repeat things in terms
yeah,
of some traumas that might think because it is a very traumatic thing to do. You lose trust, you lose everything, and I can understand. Man, I say all this, but I very sympathize for him. I can understand all this shit. Like I understand, but
yeah,
it's like well, this I always say this is not happening to you. This is happening for you and you don't know why
hundred
it's
percent.
happening for you, you might be too close to the source. The guy that has the divorce, the guy that has this, the guy that goes through some actual heartbreak like you did, which is some crazy shit. Like
Mm,
it might not like stick now, but when you're like 24 looking back, you're like, oh, I know why that happened. Exactly. Like for
mm.
me, I had a girl that broke up with me. I was working across from her. I was in a suit shop. She was in a tattoo parlor, like a piercing, body piercing thing.
Mm.
And she broke up with me on Christmas Eve, which was kind of crazy. After I bought all
Oh,
these gifts, I got back together with me, and then broke up with me 3 weeks later on my birthday. So like, and then I remember like a couple of weeks later, she brought this guy in. She was making out with him in front of me, like dry humping him, and like making
what
sure
the
that I was
fuck?
watching. Yeah, it was some crazy shit. She was pulling some
How did
crazy
that
shit.
happen? Like at your place or at like a party or like where?
No, no. This was like at work. This was in the middle of the day. I was the manager of a suit shop, and
Oh,
I could see directly into her store, and yeah, she was
mm,
pulling some crazy shit, right? And I didn't know, and again, it spiraled me down into a massive depression for like 10 months. It was
mm.
massive, and now when I look back, I'm 31. That happened when I was like 18, 19, and best thing that ever happened to me. Like 10 years later, best thing. I was like, oh my god, thank Christ that happened because it's called a catalyst. That gets you to a point where I found the RSD content. I started to go out and talk to girls. I started to improve my life. But that was so traumatic that I had nowhere to go from. Like there was no worse than I was. And so when it was no worse than I could go, everything was just up. Like everything was a win to me. Going out was a win. Talking to one person for a second was a win. Saying hello was a win. And so what happened was I look back and I'm like, I know exactly that my path in life was like going one way. This catalyst happened where some crazy shit happened. And then I did diverted into a whole new reality, which is what I do now. So, you know, I at 30, well, like at 19, 18, I hated the girl. At 31, I'm like, I would thank the girl
Yeah,
profusely because it changed my life and I would never want it any other way. And I was like, wow, like,
yeah,
this really did change my life. This was the thing. And so at 18, it might not be like, it still might be like a little bit like, fuck that, fuck that bitch. FTB, we call it. Fuck the bitch. But it might be, a little bit more as you get older, that changes. You get older, you get mature, you get wiser, and you don't think like that. And you're like, wow, that's some truly change, like, changing of direction from that moment. I'm sure you did. I'm sure
yeah,
that was such a traumatic thing that you did. And you're like, wow, look back,
yeah,
you might not now, but you might look back and be like, that was a really interesting thing that happened and changed me for the better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it happened a year ago, and to be honest,
Okay.
man, I didn't feel it immediately because I had another girl from the gym right after that I met and etc. So I like there was this one quote from Jack Hopkins where he says, "I like my suffering raw," which is basically I was feeling like shit inside, so I started immediately trying to sleep with some other girl and date
Yep.
someone else, um, because I thought that would make me not think about it, right? So, bro, I met
Hmm.
this girl for the gym and started dating her after a month, right?
Yep.
No time to truly know what the girl is like. Ended
Hmm.
after 2 months, right?
Yep.
Another one, bro. And then I was like, okay, you know what, man? And then I met another girl, but towards the winter, I was just like, you know what? I'm gonna take a little break for a while, right?
Sure.
For a couple of weeks, months. This winter, bro, it was shit, right? I'm not gonna lie. I
Yeah.
had, I had, I have a lot of friends that are doing the same business model with. So they like pushed me. But man, some days I woke up after a couple hours of bed, right, working late last night. I was like, man, I just want to stay in bed all morning, right? And
Yep.
I was feeling like shit. And it
Mm-hmm.
took me a good solid months, right? I still
Yeah.
got thoughts of her, right?
Mm-hmm.
I, I was tempted to search up her Instagram, see what she's doing, because I
Mm-hmm.
knew she had a boyfriend, a new guy that she replaced me with, and I was like, I'm not gonna look. I'm not
Good.
gonna look.
Well done.
And I
That's good.
did.
That's good at 18. You're very
And
mature for 18. Other guys can't be able to
yeah, bro.
control themselves like that.
And the thing that truly I feel like made me move on very well was when 2 months ago I had this surgery, and I was in a
Mm.
hospital for 4 days, and I remember she texted me. She replied to a story of mine, just like like asking me what's happened. And I said, we called for like an hour. I just
Mm-hmm.
spoke, right? Because I was in the hospital. I had a book. I had nothing really else to do. I was
Yeah.
just like, you know. So I decided to talk to her. And this was like, after that conversation, I realized, man, she's a sweet girl. Maybe she did something. She's like a kind of a good girl. All right. Already, although she did what she did, I'm not going to take this personally anymore. Right. But the
Mm-hmm.
thing is, I was glad that she's happy with whoever she's with. And after that moment, I thought that it would be a bad thing to call my ex, but it was actually a very liberating thing.
Okay.
I realized that, bro. After that moment, I never thought of her again. Like
Sure.
like it, it's like I can finally look back at those pictures and just smile for
Okay.
the
Nice.
experience.
Everyone
But it
goes
was a
through different
couple of
things, but that's good.
yeah,
You
but
know
it
what I
was a
mean?
couple of months of, man. I just had such negative thoughts. I don't want to get into it, but like I'm glad it happened, as you said, and
Yeah,
yeah,
massively.
man,
Well, it's
absolutely,
like anything. It's like I guess what you don't see behind the scenes is that your Tates, your Jack Hawkins, your Myron's, your Fred. Like when you go through relationships, it's
mm,
hard on anybody, right? It's not this like you got to be this macho man and just like not like an iron cold. Like I know things because I'm so far deep in the industry. Like I know there's the thing, the bravado that they put on the persona, and then there's what actually happens behind the scenes, and you're like, oh, okay, like they're actually human as well. I guess that's what like people are craving, this
mm,
human element from them. But yes, similar things like that they would have gone through as well. So it's very hard to be able to say that without saying wussy or feeling like that. But again, it's just like the closure you needed was the thing that was able to close the energetic trauma that was being looped around, and that just diminished it, and you feel better. Feel better for it. So it's
yeah,
an unusual process. Like everyone goes through this thing. So if that helped, that helped. I remember I found her Instagram like years later. This was only like not that long ago. I haven't seen her anything in like 10 years, right? Back in my day, bro, like you could break up with a girl and never see her again. Never see an Instagram.
yeah.
Never see another photo of her.
That's the
Never.
one thing that I will envy, bro. Like,
Yeah. I'd look at her and she was like worse than I'd ever seen her, and I was like, huh. I was like, wow.
really,
I was like, yeah. It's like you get that, bro. All the friends that you have now and all the people that
mm.
high school and everything, you're going to notice that the habits and the behaviors really stack up over the years, right? So if
Oh
it's
yeah,
not so much like you do, you might be seeing guys ahead. You might see guys like you might see guys on like money Twitter or thing. They've got the Lambos, they've got the this. As you get
mm.
older, you realize a couple of different things. Everyone goes through about 5 or 6 catastrophes in their life. So they might be winning at 21,
Mm.
19, 20. They got the Lambo, they got everything, but they're in for 4 or 5 catastrophes that they may or may not be ready for, right? Same thing
Mm.
with the girls. It's like the actions, the behaviors. They go out, they're doing the coke, they're doing the drink, the Molly, the ecstasy. They're doing everything. That doesn't hit them now. They still look good. They still look fresh. Their skin's tight. Their body's tight. They don't have to go to the gym. But by 28 and they continue that lifestyle, they ain't looking like they used to. Their skin is a little bit
Mm.
worn. They're a bit flabby. They got a bit of a pooch belly, and they're like, what? Why didn't the guys like? There's a vicious life cycle that goes for men and women, unless you really identify it. So I always say like it's a big marathon. It's a big marathon, this whole journey, right? And as long as you keep the consistency, and as long as you keep doing the correct things and the right habits for you, you will start to see the compounding effect. And I'll say, excuse me, that at 18, right? This is
Mm.
this is probably going to blow your mind. At 8, so we experience a year differently, me and you, by the way.
Ah, yeah, it's a less
Your
percentage of
year
your life.
Yeah, because it's only like you've done 18 of them. I've done 32 of them, 31. So it's a lot quicker for me and a lot less quicker for you. So a year might be like, fuck, it's just such a long time. Man, we're in
Wow.
April 1st right now. It was just New Year's Eve not that long ago. We're like
Yeah,
a quarter of the way done, right? Then it'll be two, then it'll be three, and then it'll be New Year's again. Like this shit just rolls around so rapidly. The thing with you is like, that I would say is okay, even though a year seems a long time, if you can just consistently do the right actions, make the money,
mm,
do the fitness, talk to some girls, it's like by the age of
yeah,
23, you're going to be a beast. You're going to be a beast. That seems like
mm,
5 years. Oh my God, like 5 years ago, you were like 13. But like 5 years' time,
yeah,
it goes very quick. And
mm,
you'll notice every year from now gets quicker and quicker and quicker. And you'll be
yeah,
like, oh, damn, like if because I did the correct actions, I started to see this like divide between the guys that weren't and the guys that did. Same with the girls, same with
mm,
everything. Bro, I'm at 31. I look at the people back in high school. I'm like, man, I'm like, they are going to be so insanely jealous. But it was because back when I was 17, 18, I got rid of my ego and I was like, I needed to get better at this. I suck at
mm,
this. I need to make money. I need to do these things. I need to get better. I don't know the skills. And from there, it was like I then started the journey of learning, and you can have a look at them. They're in the safe job. They got the safe family, and who knows? They could be insanely happy looking at me, being like, "I fucking hate that
mm,
lifestyle." I look at them and like, I
mm,
wouldn't like that lifestyle. I like my lifestyle. So we don't know who's right or who's wrong. But let's just say the guys wanted to do more with their life. They weren't happy. Excuse me. They weren't happy with where they're at. They would they would see my lifestyle and be like, "Oh, I wish I could have or could have. I would have done that." But it's like
mm,
the 1 or 2% that they didn't do is over the years what really changed. You know?
yeah. I feel like journaling kind of makes you look at every single day like slightly differently. Like you can
Yep.
literally say what you did on that day. That's the one thing that I started implementing from like
Good.
past half a year. At the end
Yeah,
of
you
my
could.
day, I gave a 1 out of 10 rating, how well I performed that day, and said, how can I fix this, right? A
How's
lot of
today
times,
going?
and I
What's
just
what's
can
your score?
see, and I can just see how my days got better and better, right? I have this fucking task list, right? And at the
Yeah.
end, I have these boxes, right? So I have like literally proof of, okay, did I fuck up today or not? I feel like
Yep.
that's something practical in terms of mental, man. I'm not gonna lie, man. I had this one conversation with a guy from that the podcast with a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not gonna name who he is, but um, I just said to him, like, man, I'm 17 or like I'm 18 now.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm behind. And he was like,
Sure.
why, bro? You're fucking 17, 18, right? You're
Sure.
like, you have so many years in front of you. I'm like, I saw yesterday this guy, Niv Kochav, or what's his name? He makes 150K a month and he's 15.
Mm-hmm.
150K a month. And I was like, this guy's a millionaire at 50. I'm 3 years older than him. I'm late. I'm like behind. I was like, and he was like,
Yeah.
who are you looking up to? And I said, well, let me think about it. There are a couple of people, but let's say Luke Belmar. He's 29.
Mm-hmm.
When did he become a millionaire? 23 ish, I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, see, you still have time. And even if not, Andrew Tate is the next one, right? When did he become a millionaire? 29, right? And,
Sure.
and it's like, what you don't know what story is Niv Kochav. I don't. I hope I pronounce his name correctly. What his story is going to be in 10 years, 20 years. How
Sure.
he's going to tell his story. Maybe he
That
didn't
might go.
have any childhood, whatever. Be glad that you're not rich young, because you still got a lot to work on, and you're going to be remembering like these
Mm-hmm.
broke days. And I'm like, it's hard for me to actually embrace that when I see guys my age doing so much better,
Yep.
but I'm also trying to like kind of enjoy the process, but it's hard at times.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm like,
It comes down.
how do you
It
how
comes
do
down
you
to a
cope
Yep. Yep.
how do you
Yep.
cope with the moment when you are in that process of doing something?
I'll just give you
How do you
direct advice. I'll give you direct advice. What I give a lot of people, it's like, okay, well, let's say you're making 150K a year, you're making two point something million or 1.5 million. Okay, what are you going to do with the money?
Hmm. Yeah, pay my parents' mortgage, move to Move to probably Miami. That was one place I wanted to move, and yeah, like grow the podcast, get always like people that try to network with people that I've always looked up to, and
Mm-hmm.
that's probably like one of the things. Now, obviously, like the cars, etc. That would be one thing, but
Mm-hmm.
the main thing right now is taking care of people I love. That's like the number one thing.
Okay, cool. So that's the first thing. Everyone wants the Rolex, the Lambo, the this and that. I'll
Mm.
give you a bit of advice. The things that you buy end up owning you. So if you don't know about these guys
Okay.
that have the supercars, just so you know, they're in the shop like every fucking 4 weeks. Like imagine like getting a bill for 6K to 10K every 4 weeks for a car that you're like.
Mm.
So they end up fucking selling the car because they're like, this is a piece of shit. I hate this.
Mm.
I would like a car that's more functional, right? Or it's like uncomfortable. So I'll give you two different things. I was in the same position, and then I started to understand. I started to realize I was like, okay, well, number one, you don't need that money to live that lifestyle. You can just like start. It's like, okay, you know, I don't have the supercars, I don't have the Rolexes, I don't have this, but I've noticed everyone that does have those things, they end up like it's just another thing for them. And I was like, oh,
Mm.
okay, like just another thing. For me, it was like, okay, I like clothes. I like to wear things that make me feel powerful. That's my thing. I like to spend money on clothes and or travel. Travel's another thing. So with what I defined of like paying your parents' mortgage off, fantastic, absolutely. They probably don't expect you to do that. It's like a thing that you want
Yeah,
to do, and you're feeling
yeah.
capable of it, which is good. Um, I always like to see so you have to understand what the intentions behind everything you're doing. So if you want to pay your parents' mortgage off, it's again you want to give back. You know they gave you a good childhood and everything. Slightly, you want to have some power over your parents as well. At 18, just slightly, we have to
Okay.
look at the intentions, right? We go deep into everything. I want to move to Miami. Why? I want to get to know all these people. It's like, okay, well, what are they
Mm.
going to give you? Oh, well, they're doing better. They're going to give me knowledge and everything. Brother, I'm friends with all of these people. They don't give you shit.
Mm.
Like, yeah, you have some cool experiences. You end up like liking the people that you end up liking, and you're friends, and they don't give you have cool experiences in this, and you're popping bottles. I've done all that, so I kind of know, I kind of you have to experience
Mm.
it. What you're going to understand is you've definitely got to go through that phase, but you're going to notice that it's not going to be fulfilling as much. You have to go through it, but it ain't going to be fulfilling. But
Mm.
I can't tell you not to do it because you're going to have to do it in order to have that
Yeah.
epiphany. It's kind of like the thing. It's like you get the supercar with all these guys, and they're just like, "Man, I just wish I never bought this thing." And I'm like, I see them all say that. I'm like, you wasted all this. Like they're like, I wish I just had my truck back in the day. I was like, oh, okay, whatever. Or they go to Miami and then they end up hating it and they move out. Like you got to go through the experiences, right? But
Mm.
the big things that I would say is like, if you want to make more money, you got to give me a plan in what you're going to do with that money. You got to give me a
Mm.
plan. So it's like I want to make 150,000 a year. I want to make $75,000 profit, right, or $100,000 profit, or back in my day, bro, it was like 10K. Like 10K profit was fucking big, right? You kids are just like 150. Like, bro, back a couple of years ago, people that were crushing it were doing 150K. This is only like 3 years ago, 4 years ago,
Mm.
right? So it's just exponential, and then it's gonna be like I want to make $1 million months. It's like, first of all, let's chill the brakes a little bit, right? Let's just get a bit like I would be more happy with you being like I want a business that is growing and becoming more successful, which means I'm getting more money. It's becoming refined. The
Mm.
system is there, and I'm very happy doing it. That would mean more to me than your 150,000. Like you actually like what you're doing. It's improving society. It's getting better because that's the longevity.
Mm.
So you might be doing 150K, right, which is fantastic. But let's just say next year he's making zero, and the year after he's making zero and zero and zero. Well, that 150K doesn't look that special anymore, does it? But if you're at like 10 and then you're at 20 and then you're at 25 and then you're at 30 and then 50 and then you're making a couple of mil a year and you're going on and on and on, and it's a sustainable model that's lasting you and you can end up selling it, that you see how the front end might look juicy, but the back end, if you do something a bit more sustainable, you're going to win in the end. You just have to be patient.
Mm.
That's why your generation, no patience, zero
Ah.
patience. You're like, oh, fuck, I want it now, I want it now, I want it now. I deal with all of you, so I already know. I'm like, oh, okay, like I deal with the 23-year-old millionaires, the 19-year-olds, the fucking 30-year-olds, no patience. So that'd be like the big thing is like, okay, the way that I got money was like, okay, if I make this sort of money, this is what I'm going to be doing. This is my plan. All right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to
Mm.
set this up. I'm going to have this guy. I'm going to do this. I'm going to donate a bit here. I'm going to do that. I'm going to do this. and you give a plan, life rewards people that are initiators. Life rewards people that like are specific. Like God rewards people that are specific. So if you're specific about, okay, if I got that amount of money, this is what I would do. Life has a way of just giving it to you because it's like, oh, this guy deserves it, right? And it's super weird. Like you write down. I remember like, I wanted to write down. I make like 100 grand or something, and I was like, I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this is how I'm going to use the money. And I shit you not, like 2 weeks later, I closed a deal. And it was a massive deal. I was like, wow. And I closed another deal. I was like, wow, I got close to it. I never hit that target, but for that time period, and I got close to it. I was like, wow. And so I started executing everything that I was going to do, and it helped. I was like, oh, it's because I had a plan. It's because I really thought about it. Like people want to like do that. And here for that guy, that 15-year-old, you know what the crazy thing is? He doesn't even care about the 150 grand. He wants more and more and more. So it's for the guy that wants more, he'll get like the base level because that 150 grand means nothing to him. So you want the 150 grand, you'll probably get like 40, right? Because that doesn't mean anything to you. Someone that wants 40 will probably get 10, right? It's like the equivalent. It's like when you shoot for the stars, you're going to hit for the moon. It's like, oh, I want $1 billion. It's like all this. It's just understand, like I want to build, like in order to get that, build something that's worth value. That's it. People want. If you build something that people want, then money is like people will be throwing money at you to try to get it. That's the difference. So I would say like at 18, if I could tell my 18-year-old self that, like, yeah, you're going to see people that are crushing it. Like I've got guys that are in their 40s that are crushing it, 40s and 50s. And I'm like, damn, I wish I was there. But I'm like, well, I got to enjoy my 30s as well. Like I can do anything. I don't have the responsibilities, this and that. So yeah, it's just a little bit of thing. But if you came up with a plan of like, all right, I want to do this, like paying off your, like as crazy as thing, you're doing a fantastic, paying your parents' mortgage. That might not be the smartest thing. It might be like, okay, I'm going to give little installments so it knocks down the mortgage rate on it, and we can refinance it, or not refinance it. We can renegotiate and get a lower deal, so you end up paying less because you're starting to do. So you know what I mean? This is what I mean by a plan. So it's like I want to do something, but if you really specifically do, you're like, oh, I don't really need that much to start executing on this plan. It's super weird. It's like, I want the supercar. It's like, okay, well, you want the supercar? Which supercar? Why? Okay, cool. You don't need that much. And it's like, oh, okay, like I could do that. Or, I always say, there's a guy that told me, don't try to skip to the Lamborghini when you haven't gone through the Mercedes route. You got to get the Mercedes first, or got to get the BMW first before you can get that. Like there's steps in here. And that's where the plan is, So that's my like little 2 cents on that. Hopefully that helps you, as someone that's gone through
absolutely, man. Yeah, I've journaled deeply about this, man, and what I do at each level, and etc., and how am I planning to get there, etc. And I have made a lot of progress in the past 2-3 years, right? And especially when I made making that first dollar online is an experience that I'm never gonna forget. All right, but I wanted to say, that 15-year-old guy. I want to call him 15-year-old kid, but I realize why the guy's in shape. The guy's taking care of his loved ones. The guy is working hard. I don't feel like it's fair to call him a kid only because he's 15.
Brother, he's a kid.
Maybe
he's a kid.
Really?
He's 15.
Really?
He's a child, brother. Trust me.
How?
15, bro.
Yeah, but maybe he's lived so many more years than every other 15-year-old.
No, he's a kid. He's a child. I can put him in a stressful situation, and this kid is reacting like a child. His brain is not fully developed. Like 100%.
If you look at it, how to get the 150K a month and the shit he had to go through to get to that point in the first place, I think that might have been a lot of stressful situations for sure, like handling your taxes for the first time when you don't even know shit and stuff like that. Don't you think that
he can't drink, he can't get a tattoo? His business is probably registered under his mom and dad's name because he's too young to get a business. Like he's a child, bro. Like honestly, like you've just graduated into like adulthood, but in America, you're not considered an adult till you're 21. So you're still a child, basically. That's the crazy thing. And that doesn't mean that mentally he might be years above, for sure. Absolutely, you're exactly correct. But under the government, like he's a very much a child, bro. Like
under government, sure. What I wanted to say is that although he's making like 100, 150K a month right now, and he said in that video that he
Yep.
plans on making having million a month by
Hmm.
18. And I'm like, you know what, man? I can respect that. But I look at the comments and everybody says fucking scammer, we ain't buying your course, little bro, etc., and all this shit. And I can understand why a lot of those people do.
Sure.
But then I look at a top comment, and it's some other guy with like 200K subscribers, etc., saying young generation is moving up, etc. And I look at it,
Hmm.
the guy who's doing well is praising another guy that's doing well. The guys with anime profile pictures are hating on it, and I'm
Of
like,
course. Yeah. Yeah.
well, why is that? I see anybody doing well, like some guy being in shape, and they say he's on steroids. They
Hmm.
see a guy, I don't know, like Dan Bilzerian, etc. They
Yeah.
say that those are paid prostitutes, etc. They automatically assume that they had to cheat to get there because they're maybe the same age or older than the person and not as
Sure.
successful as them. Whereas I always looked at it, how can I get to know this person and
Hmm.
learn what from them, or like try to connect with them? That was the whole point of this podcast, right? 33
For sure.
episodes in, I've met some people I'm really looking up to, but I
Nice.
always tried. I never understood why would you hate on someone, because that's not going to get you the knowledge to get to where they are. Speaking to these people and finding out how they think, how what they did to get there, that's what's going to get you there. But I would ask you, why do you think certain people decide instead to just how should I say this? Call someone a scammer, a cheater, a fake,
Mhm.
whatever, just to cope with their own insecurities that they don't think they're able to do it. Why do you think somebody does that? Because I cannot relate to that, and I'm thinking maybe why do people do that in the first place?
It's it's the law of duality. Like there's ways I can say, which I could answer the same question, being like, yeah, they're in coping and they're just like, it's the law of duality, my bro. So up without up, there can't be down. Without left, there can't be right. Without green, there can't be red.
Mm,
It's the duality of the human existence, right? So you can't have people praise you without people hating you. It's just that you can't have people admiring you, want to learn from you without people not wanting to learn from you and calling you a scam artist, right? So and again, it's just like, well, some people scam other people and that they might have got scammed and they feel the same
mm,
way. It's just like, but you're probably terminating on like, why do they vocalize it and why they have to let the other person know? It's just like, well, that's their trauma, man. That's their trauma speaking out, right? You could have easily gone down the route of fuck women because you had a terrible experience. You could have easily gone down that route, but you didn't, right? Because you probably had a good support network. You probably
mm,
are very socially intelligent and aware of like that's what everybody does. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to really handle this situation with a lot of maturity. They just don't have that, man. There is an epidemic of mental illness, and so these people could be
mm,
mentally ill. Don't get me wrong, like very mentally ill, and so it triggers them, and they can't control their emotions. We live in a very no one's in like an emotional state that's just fluctuating from up and down. It can go into the food that they're eating. It can go into the ADD. It can go into the vaccines. It can go into everything that you have. Like they've been, yeah. I could go on massive rants. Don't get me wrong. I try to keep it PC, but
mm,
there's a cascading effect of people just in dire straits of trying to. They don't have anyone, they're trying to find a stable footing and they've got no idea. They've never had experiences. They've never had anyone tell them. They've never been disciplined. They never understand what right and wrong is. And they've lived in this like
mm,
cushion world that they think, oh my God, like everything's sunshine and roses, where it's like, no, motherfucker, this is reality. So when they see that, they
mm.
get triggered. They're like, they just have a pain boggy attack and they're like, scam, scam, scam. It's like, again, people that create you're like myself, that's just going to happen. And you kind of like it because it's like, oh, at least you're touching a point. So the worst thing to do is when you're creating content is to have no reaction. The best thing to do when you're creating content is to have reactions. And so you're like, oh, cool. And it's kind of interesting.
Mm,
And I kind of, it's not that I try to elicit it because, it can get really intense very quickly. But I've had things pop off, and have had a lot of hate, a lot of death threats, and a lot of different things based on what I talk about. And I would say that it's taught me a valuable lesson about myself as well. Like it's actually taught me to understand myself and who I am. When you've got, like, I remember there was a point where in one day I had like 10,000 people tell me who like I had a tweet that went very very viral, And I had about 10,000 quote tweets of people telling me how much of an awful person I was. And that's a
Mm.
little bit different when you're having 50 comments a second come through, or a minute come in,
Mm.
about, how you should die, how this is the first person we should send to ISIS, how we should decapitate you on live and send it to your family and shit, how I should be the
Mm.
first person drafted into World War III. And this is women telling me about this. And I'm like, well, this is kind of interesting. And it made me understand. So, like, even certain things like that, it taught me valuable lessons about, like, oh, I have to be the one that dictates who I am. I can't let society tell me who
Mhm.
I am, because they're just a big sheep fucking herd that just go with any trend they want. And if someone likes it, they're going to follow, and all these different things. So it's an
Yeah.
interesting kind of paradox when you're a creator, because you're like, you don't want too much of it, but enough, a little bit of it is pretty fun as well.
Mm. Yeah, man, absolutely. I will agree with this, man.
Yeah,
And also, you know what? A lot of guys just, how should I put this? They try to, they kind of give up on on everything. And I know
hmm,
I've already touched this, but
yeah, for sure,
how do you kind of like, if this was your, like, let's say your little
sure.
brother, you would care to save him, right? If it was like this depressed guy to listening to fucking Juice World with the song called "All Girls Are the Same," that
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
And it's like, if somebody has in their life someone that's, going down that rabbit hole, and it's someone they
sure.
care about, how do you try to help this person, because their habits must be shit too, like, dude,
Yeah, for
staying
sure.
up late listening to fucking depressive music, eating chips, and then going to,
Let's just say it's a friend, right? Can we say it's a friend?
Mhm.
Like, it's a friend that's in a bad
Yeah,
world.
yeah, yeah.
Other people online, it's a little bit different, right? Because there has to be that want to change. But let's just say it's a
Mm.
friend, and you see him going down a bad rabbit hole. So there's a really, really good movie called Inception. I don't know if you've ever seen it, with Leonardo DiCaprio, Cillian Murphy,
No.
Joseph Levitt Gordon, and it's about the idea. I'm going to give it. It's like they're an operative team that implant thoughts into another person's brain and make them think that they had the thought. That's the whole. I won't give the
Mm.
storyline. So you have to kind of do that with your friend. And a really good way is, like, your friend is going to want certain desires, certain emotions, certain things to happen in his life. Let's say if he wants girls, right? You
Mhm.
have to kind of implant an idea in his head that he can't get girls the way he's living, and that's the primary driver
Mm.
emotion, right? So PDE, primary driver emotion.
Oh shit.
So I'll give you an example. So I had a guy who was living with his mom. He was like a fitness guy, and I asked him what he wants in life. What do you want in life? Oh, I want a bunch of girls. I want to live a cool lifestyle. I want to live the lifestyle you want. And I'm like, okay, well, for starters, the thing that I wanted, I had a room to rent, so I wanted him to move into the room. That was my objective by talking to him. So I was like, well, she's. I said two things. I'm like, well, you're never going to get a girl when your mother takes care of you. Like, there's no need for a girl, and you can't call, a girl can't call you daddy when you're calling your own daddy. And it really implanted in him. I'm like, so this is how I think. I didn't say you should move up. I said, so you definitely have to move out, because no girl's gonna fuck you when your mum's in the next room. And I left it there.
Mm.
And I said, like, I have a room, yeah, absolutely, but yeah, and then I said blah blah blah. So I implanted the thought into his brain of, like, if I want girls, I've got to move out of the house, right? That's the two things.
Mm.
Guy calls me up like 3 days later. It was like, I'm moving in. When can I move? Blah, 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 blah. So, like, implanted the thought and made it his idea. So when you're trying to help someone, you want to make it their idea, not your idea, because there's too many times.
Oh.
How many times have you told people, like, do this, do that? You got to get fit. You got to get this. They don't listen, right? They don't
Ah.
fucking listen. But when you make it their
Yeah.
idea, and they go, bro, like, I feel so much better, for the gym. Let's say you want to get the gym, and for guys like that, it's just girls, bro. I get so
Mm.
much female attention, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting jacked in this. But you were the guy that said, yeah, girls always like guys that are, fit. They don't like guys that eat Doritos and
Mm.
Netflix. Just like that little offhanded comment plants the seed,
Mm.
grows in their brain. They start going to the gym. So you make
Holy
it
shit.
their idea. this is the art of it. And from there, it's
Never
like,
thought about
yeah, it's like, yeah, of course, girls don't fucking like guys that listen to Juice WRLD. That's like 2017 type shit. Bang, they'll like stop listening to that. Like, and it's these offhanded, snarky comments that are not derogatory, that are not ill will. They're to plant a seed. You're doing it with a purpose. You're doing it the
it.
purpose to let them come to the conclusion, because the analogy is, you can take a horse to water, you can't make the horse drink.
Mhm. Yeah.
But if you run the horse and then you bring it to the water, it's gonna fucking want to drink because it wants to, right?
Uh,
That's your idea. So you want to get your friend to have the epiphany of bettering their life,
mm.
right? Um, and so I'll give you another analogy. There was a guy that didn't want to break up with his girlfriend. So I was like, yeah, man,
Oh.
like, and so I sent him a chat GPT kind of Dali fucking photo of him depressed at age 50 with like a shirt with his name on it. And I was like, man, this is going to be sad to see, you in a couple of years,
Mm.
brother. Like, and he was just like, and he made the decision, not me. I didn't make anything. I just sent a photo to him.
Mm.
I provoked him a little bit. I was like, yeah, man, I don't know how I'm going to be friends with this guy. And it was just a joke. Brother changed his life completely.
Mm.
Right? And the idea, that's the idea. You just got to, and this is where the creativity comes from. Like, what do they like? What do they like? What can I say that gets them to do this action, and say that
Mm.
this action is only because this happens, and you can get really good at it. And it's people are going to say this is very Machiavellian, which is an idea about very manipulative. But
Mhm.
when you're trying to help someone, and if you know anything, you'll try any sort of way to be able to help them.
Yeah.
But when it's their decision, it's a whole different ballgame.
Yeah, well, when you mentioned a Ghana wanting to break up with his girlfriend, I understand that, man. Some of the guys are in scarcity. This was me, by the way, too. I should have left earlier, and I had so many red flags that I could see now, but I couldn't see back then.
Yeah.
And it has gone through my mind, but I just didn't want it, right? And this would leads me to the question: why why do guys have this scarcity mindset all the time, and are either taking settling too early, or like taking whatever comes, even that if that girl is below their standards, or they are afraid to leave a girl, right? Uh, like, what's your opinion on this?
Yeah, good question. I mean, there's a bunch of different reasons. I always try to give a unique answer or something that hasn't been heard of before. So so just it keeps me engaged. With society and what gets promoted, it looks like the world is in chaos all the time. So it's easy to say, like,
Mm.
I go to my job and I get $8 an hour or something. I get some tips, so it's like it's money is not abundant, and you see all these guys and they've got all the money and it's not you, and you see all these guys and they got all the girls and it's not you, or they might see me and they see my lifestyle and be like, it's not them. And of course they're going to feel like they don't have anything. They don't have the money, they don't have the girls, they don't have anything. And it's just like, well, there isn't this abundance, there isn't this thing, there
Mm.
isn't like anything. So I would say that a big thing for them, the reason why, is because society perpetuates this thing that there isn't an abundance of everything. And
Mm.
it's also better. They love being a little bit scared. They love having scarcity because it makes them, it satisfies their self-loathing in themselves. Like, oh, it's because of this,
Mm.
and this that I didn't get that. It's because of the government. It's because of fucking this. It's because of girls. And they're pointing the blame into everyone except themselves, right? And where my only thing was like, I take accountability for everything, and I'm like, okay, if everything was my fault, right? Like, hypothetically, if let's just say, if we lived in a world where you could only get girls by going up and talking to them, you could only make money by reaching out to people,
Mm.
and you can only have a lifestyle by you having to go out and create it. Like, you have to do everything. You are the
Yeah.
initiator of every single thing. Um, it would make life a lot simpler. right? Because you know you have to do everything. Like nothing's happening for you. No luck, no nothing. It's just
Yeah.
you have to talk to the girls. You have to send the DMs. You have to send this. You have to go up with them. You have to make the money. And it's not that far away from the truth of what our reality currently is,
Mm.
right? So,
Yeah.
the thing with these guys, they're in scarcity because they're like, oh well, if I, they don't believe, they don't understand the laws of the world, the laws of energy. They don't understand, like, a great song by YG that I listen to. It's called "Scared Money Don't Make No Money." Right? Get scared. Great thing. The line is "Scared
That's a
money
good
don't
one.
make no money." And it's the idea of, like, if you're trying to hoard all this stuff, we live in a generation. You need to take risk. You need to go out there. You need to, because as a man, you can rebuild yourself so many times over. I've rebuilt
Mm.
myself countless times. I was this guy, and then I lost it. I was the guy that was the golfer, got injured, had to break up, had to rebuild myself. I was the guy that was the RSD guy. I was international stages talking to thousands of people. That ended. I was the guy that was the golfer again, the guy in the relationship, the guy that was famous on TikTok. Rebuilt myself again. So so there is a countless abundance in life, but you just think, like, if you just lose once, like you said before, that failure, that your life's over. It's like, no, you're going to rebuild yourself so many different times.
Mm.
The kid that's 15 is probably like, this is what when you get older, the kid that's 15, you're like, I want to be like him. But the kid at 15 has a heart attack at 17. Do you want to be like him? And you're like, fuck no.
Mm.
That's the crazy
Mm.
shit.
Interesting.
Enough time passes and you realize, like, oh, I see. I see that. Here's the
Yeah.
crazy thing. I'm going to tell you some crazy things. I've had two people recently being like, I'm so envious of you. And I'm like, why? It's like, well, man, I'm stuck here. I've got, they've got supercars. I got everything, and I can't travel like you can. I can't just live out of a suitcase. And I was like, why? He's like, well, I've got all this stuff. I've got my wardrobe. I can't just sell everything. And I'm like, and they're so envious of me. And and it's always the
Mm.
grass is greener. Because I'm like, yeah, I'd love to be able to be in the Miami penthouse, the
Mm.
cars and this and that. And they're like in the Miami penthouse with the watches, with the cars, being like,
Yeah.
you get to travel to any country you want to on a dime, anytime you please. I'm like, yep. They're like, man, I'd fucking kill for that. And I'm like, it's always greener where you think it is. So, with the abundant
Mm.
stuff, it's like, um, with the ideas of just like looking at the world and looking how abundant it is, looking how much, just different things, how much sun, like we get energy for free, the wind, the rain, there's so much of it. And when you start to understand that there's, just look at the crypto markets and see how much money is in crypto, trillions of
Mm.
dollars, billions and billions and billions into projects. And you're like, it's unquantifiable. You're like, what?
Yeah.
Like, there is that much? Yeah, absolutely. And then
Mm.
understand that you're never making money. You're just holding on to it. It's like a river, right?
Yeah.
Like, you don't make money because if you like Pablo Escobar was making money and was losing like some ungodly amount of money, like 4 million or $40 million a month due to rats eating the fucking dollar
Mm.
bills, right? So it's like money is just
Yeah.
this energy symbol, like Luke Belmont talks about, like the energy symbol,
Mm.
right? But you just have to understand, it's like there's just so much infinite thing when you start to level up. When you actually like start to settle down, you're like, okay, I want to level up my life. This is where I want to go. There's so many different things that
Mm.
you can be able to orchestrate and create in your reality.
Yeah. I'm gonna re-mention the quote from Jack Hopkins. I like my suffering raw, is because I feel like so many guys also aren't as disciplined or don't have the ambition because they sedate themselves with porn and video games. I'd say these two
Okay.
main things that I
Yeah.
used to as well. And bro, the porn thing, that was the hardest thing. Okay, video games, I got rid of that, but I was a video gamer for all like ever since I was like fucking 9, right? Ever since I was
Hmm.
like maybe 8, bro. And so the thing is, you want that supercar where nowadays you can get in Forza Horizon. You can play with your steering wheel, and you can have a Lambo in the video game for $50, right?
Yeah.
Porn, you can have that 10 out of 10 girlfriend online,
Mhm.
and now it's gonna be even more realistic with fucking AI, VR porn, or whatever. And I'm like,
Yeah.
if many guys just stop doing these two things, their natural desire for these things in real life would be more prevalent, right?
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
So, like after I broke up with my girlfriend, I met a couple of months ago a sweet girl that I'm with her until now. And you
Perfect.
know what? I don't think that I would be deserving of this girl if I would still be doing those two things, because I don't think I would push as hard,
Hmm.
push as hard in many things, right?
Got it. Yeah.
And I feel like if somebody is literally addicted to these two things, right,
Hmm.
video games and porn, how does a guy break out of that trap?
It's a really weird question. I don't have addictions like at all. I'm not addicted to anything. I could stop anything at any
Mm,
time. It's super weird. Um, People have
mm,
found that. I'm like I could drink coffee. I'm a mad coffee drinker, and I could just turn it off for nothing. And I'm like, oh man.
mm,
Yeah, I think I developed that. It's just like my I don't have an addictive personality, and I know guys that do. So I will say it from their perspective that have handled it. When your life is boring, you do those two things. That's it.
mm. So it's
Like
like
if
they don't
you're
have
if you really
anything
got a
else.
cool life going on, you ain't got time for that shit. It's just because you got
Mm,
time. Like that's the only thing. You got time to do it, right? Um,
mm,
so there's that one. Now, if you want to go to a metaphysical thing, it's basically usually like masturbate. Like I don't like as weird as I come from a different generation, man. Like back in the day, we would like fucking try to find some fucking material. Right? I was from that
yeah.
generation. I was looking at like Charlie's
Right.
Angels videos, like the movie, to like find some hot girls in there. It's just like, bro, we came from a different generation, right? You guys have an infinite glitch, and so with that infinite glitch, you have no control. Um, I'm saying you as general, not you particularly, but like
Mm,
your generation. So I would say like a big thing that you are that generation has so much access, so they are so addicted. It's just like blocking it. It's just finding why you do it, and how. I'll give an example like where the routine that leads you down that path goes to. Like you go on Twitter or you go
oh.
here or you go there, like blocking that path. But a big thing, just if you want to get control, just like do little challenges. I'm not like a big component of like because I have sex with a lot of lots of beautiful girls, so I enjoy that part. I find a girl I want to do that. I'm more than
Mm,
happy to uh, to do that. But there, I think there have been businesses on built on the basis of that. These guys are highly strung and they jerk off like it's fucking Wolf of Wall
mm.
Street and shit like that, right? I think it's like a big thing. I just think it's a bad thing that if you're not in control of any of your life, right? If you're doing video games, you can't control it. You're doing that, you can't control it. Like you got to have control over your life. Control, like don't try to stop it. Try to have control. So you
Mm.
decide. Usually, is at the whim of their emotions, like whatever emotional state they're in. Like they're horny and they're like, "Oh, I don't like this." That's what they. And so you're basically like building a habit of when you feel that feeling, you don't like it,
Ah.
and that is and like, oh, I have to get rid of like, and you're building a bad
Mm,
thing. So whenever you're like, okay, guys, like and they might pull a beautiful girl and they're unhappy at the end of it. I'm like, what the
mm.
fuck happened to you as a kid? In order for you to have a beautiful sexual experience with a girl that wants you, and you're sad at the end of it. I'm like, motherfucker, So,
Mm.
but like for the guys, it's like when they feel that urge, they feel that desire, embrace that, like that shit. That's your essence, that's your DNA, that's your masculinity. That's a thing to be embraced. Like, this feels like I'm charged, I'm wired, I'm fucking strong, right? And then
Mm.
be able to transition that into go talk to girls rather than go
Mm.
talk, look at pixels. It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
makes sense. You know,
Yeah.
I had a quote. There's a quote by my buddy Sterling, and it's great. It's very graphic, so I will warn the audience, but it's super
Ah,
funny.
fine.
He said, I'm gonna butcher it, but he's like, basically like, basically, porn is nothing when you can jack off on girl when you can bust a nut on girls' faces.
Mm. Yeah, absolutely, dude.
When you can actually have a beautiful
When
girl in front of you and do
yeah,
whatever. So I
yeah,
was like, yep, yep. There was a quote that he never could beat that. The tweet that he said that.
yeah. Bro, like I feel like as soon as you start getting that the thing that you desire in real life, so the porn and video games, these two examples. I stopped watching porn when I got my first girlfriend. Right,
Okay,
like
yep,
I didn't have that addiction for years. I don't even know if I was truly
sure.
addicted, but I didn't have it for years on end, like most other guys who, like I. It's beyond me that some guys have a girlfriend, but he still jerk off. That's like
Yeah.
that's unimaginable to me. But as soon as I got a girlfriend, and it was a girl that before I would have thought it was unrealistic, like she was out of my league,
Hmm.
right? I think that this girl is out of my league. Like she's the hot gym girl, right? So as soon as I said I'm capable of that, I stopped. I didn't have any more, how should I say, desire in this.
Hmm.
And the video games either. Like I'm a big car guy. I I had a ride in a Lamborghini Huracan once. All right,
Yeah.
I paid like $50 for like 15 minutes. Right, it
Okay.
was the bro. I'll never forget that experience.
You love
And
it.
ever since then, I was like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I want this car so much now. I want that Huracan. It's only 150, 200K. I'm like, I can make this if I put like 5 to 10 years of hard work, maybe even
Mhm.
earlier. So it's
Yeah.
like, bro, I gotta stop playing the video game because in the video game it doesn't feel anything like it does in real life.
Yeah.
And that was
Look,
also I felt it in real life, and ever since then I stopped playing video games because I just want it in real life so much more.
it's
I
about
want that
it's
experience.
75,000, and it's like a 3-4 grand retainer at the end
Mm.
of it.
Yeah,
It's not even 200,000. You do know that,
I didn't really realize that.
huh? Yeah, no finance. It's only like down payment, and then
Mm.
you've got like a monthly expense, insurances. It's not as much as you think it is.
Oh,
Just so you know, if you do some research, you might be able to get a lot quicker than you think you can. Hmm.
mm.
That's your thing.
Shit. I mean, yeah, dude. That's it's like it's exciting stuff, but again, man, that doesn't come without a couple of years of hard work. And I don't know if you believe in God, but I do. I
Yeah,
don't
100%.
really think that God is gonna let me get away with getting it at like 19, 20. I'm not. I don't think that He's gonna let me just have it that easy. You
Yeah,
know,
if
I
you
feel
want
like
something, you'll be able to get it. You never know how. You never know why. Um,
yeah,
God works in very specific ways, right? So He might not give you the car that you own, but your buddy goes overseas, like, "Hey, bro, can you? Here's my
mm,
Lambo. Can you keep it running and drive it so that it
mm,
doesn't, rust?" And you're like,
yeah,
okay, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so you got to be even more specific. Like, I need to own the car. I want to own it. I want to be mine. Like that. Like
mm,
even more specific. But yeah, with that stuff, it's just like, yeah, the guys have just got a boring life. They've got nothing going on. And like man, if you're like, okay, well, oh, Sam, what do I do? Okay, start a YouTube channel of documenting your days or something. I don't know, do something, and then edit of a nighttime until you're so tired that you just fall asleep. Cool, you're doing something productive. Go
yeah,
learn a language. Go learn this. Go learn that. Go learn e-commerce. Go learn,
yeah,
SMMA. Go learn something, brother. Like but these kids are just
mm,
like they're just wired differently. And again because like my era, my age, none of the guy like I can't think of any entrepreneurs from my high school. Like no entrepreneurs. They're not entrepreneurs. They're
yeah,
very like and so I was like I'm trying to think. I'm like they're all in their businesses. They're all in this. They're all in that. But I'm like I'm the only motherfucker that's like an entrepreneur. It's like, oh, okay. So like
mm,
it's because I just wanted to learn more things. Like I'm very
yeah.
learn.
You
I
know
hate.
what did a big thing for me? I did it last year,
Yeah.
and I did it a couple of times after that. But I'm from a smaller town, but I went to Prague, right, the capital of this country, and I went to the gym there, right. About a day passed, and I went to the gym in the biggest city,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like a completely different experience, right. It was one of the most expensive gyms there. But then I looked at the parking lot, and I saw a Porsche 911 GT3 RS, which is
Sure.
like 250 grand, something like that. And I was like, holy shit! I wonder who owns that. And then I saw a guy walking up to it. So it's like I felt a little bit like approaching a hot girl back in the
Mhm.
day when I
Yeah.
was like really fucking like my heart was pumping. But I
Sure.
pick up the balls. It was seemed like a young guy, right? He had like a patchy beard, right? He seemed like a young guy. I went up to him. I asked him like just like, hey man, I really love the car. Like like what do you do for a living? I asked him that, like and the thing that completely surprised me was he said ecom. He said
Okay.
he does ecom, and now that confirmed that, bro. All these gurus online, etc., that they say that they make a lot of money with ecom, etc. Now I
Sure.
see that this is a person in real life. It's
Yep.
not online anymore. Like this
Mhm.
is like, and ask him how old he was. He was 21,
Sure.
having a GT3 RS. And I'm like, 21 years old in Prague and doing econ. I'm like, there are people in my country doing this. So I'm like
Yeah.
that. Ever since then, like these are also just smaller moments that made it even more realistic and made
Yeah.
me. It's like another mission in GTA, right? That
Yeah.
makes you just want to do the next one and the next one, right?
Yep.
And yeah, man, like I never see myself giving up, right? It's like it's never even a possibility. It doesn't matter how many years it takes, but it's
Sure.
like seeing it in real life. And this is just something I want to say to anybody like that thinks about giving up. Make a way to talk to someone that's doing it, have an experience like riding your dream car or whatever.
Hmm.
Make it feel real. As
Yeah.
soon as you feel it, the desire just is 150% more.
Yeah, I
Like,
think there's a little thing that you can buy. You can buy like a Lamborghini key, like a replica key for like $150 as well.
mm,
So you can like get that,
really?
have that. Yeah, you can do that. All these
Holy
different
shit! I
things.
never thought about
Yeah, so you can like, all right, well, I'm a key owner, so next it'll be the real key, or um, yeah,
that.
certain things like that. Yeah, like just learning, just watching. The more you watch Lamborghini videos and everything, like absolutely, like just understanding the
Mm,
car, understanding everything. It's how you get exactly what you want. For me, it was like I wanted to have the most fantastic relationships with beautiful women, and that's all I wanted to, and
yeah, yeah,
then
yeah.
it turned into business, and then it turned into systems, and for what I do, it's like I started to get really obsessed with systems, because what I do is like
Mm,
I help the younger guys with as much free content as I can, but the meat of my skills are helping entrepreneurs develop systems for their dating and their social life, and developing a system that is just
mm,
self-generating, that they can just put in a little bit of time each and every, because they're business owners, they're this, they're that. And for someone like you've already got the girlfriends and stuff, which is cool. You're
mm,
on your mission. You're good. Some of these other guys have no idea what they're doing. So
mm,
we definitely work on that. And one of the things that you're doing is that, yeah, there's got to be that idea of like, what's the end goal? What's the manifestation? What's the thing that you want? And so, and then I go at that with like a man with 10 arms. Go want that. Go have
mm,
beautiful. For me, it was always having beautiful relationships, or always really getting to know female psychology, or understanding, getting into the right circles, the right parties, meeting the right types of people, And so that was, because that was my thing. So I was
mm.
obsessed with that. I wanted to know more and more and more. I didn't like, there's a difference between like a guy that just can't stop wanting to do something, like a not a habit, but just as we were talking about before, video games or anything like that. I was just obsessed with wanting to learn
Mm.
more and more about this topic, and that's where the picture just you know gravitate. Like I can't believe, like in COVID, I was looking at, like, we couldn't leave Australia, so I was looking at times where I could just travel
Mm,
anywhere around the world on a dime. I do that now. Might have taken 4 years,
mm,
but it's the greatest time of my life. I was like, oh, because I really wanted that. And I was looking, like, when I was in COVID, man, I was looking at videos of like the cars would drive with the 360 cams all through the streets. I would watch that for
mm.
hours and hours, just being like, oh, soon I'll be able to get out and be able to go to these places again. Soon I'll be able to
Mm,
do this. And, now I go to those streets and go to those places all the time. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like I'd already done that before. Like my life has gone up and down, up and down, up and down. So I'd done that 8 years ago, but I wanted to do that again.
mm,
So yeah, so it's kind of like just having that one idea. If it's the
mm,
car, if it's the business. And so what I would do is, yeah, you want the car. The car only comes because you're obsessed with the business being so good. The car is like just
yeah.
like a reward, which is cool. Don't get me wrong; you can still be obsessed with it, but it's the business, getting that down pat,
Mm,
but getting so obsessed with understanding
yeah.
like the funnels, the this, the that, and finding your lane and finding where you're good at.
Mm.
So yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I'm so not into fucking dream jerking, like just like dreaming about a dream life,
For
but then
sure.
not doing anything for it. That's the whole point of the task list. I said, trying to speak to people that are already where I want to be,
It's good.
trying to like apply of the things, right, doing actionable steps every day. Um, but yes, taking action. But when we spoke about women, you see, the thing is, after every storm there's a rainbow. It seems like um, after that, pretty bad relationships, arguments, whatever, you know. It seems like now I have the complete opposite of that. Like I had a girl that who's took her virginity, and she's now editing my videos
Oh
and
yeah.
cooking me eggs whenever she's at my place, and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, you know what? If I met this girl a year ago, I wouldn't have treated her well because I couldn't appreciate her, because I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't have had a toxic girlfriend who, uh, you know. So it's like I feel like even in appreciating the bad stuff, So it's like I'm not complaining to anybody that I'm not where I want to be yet, because I know that one day I'm gonna be glad that it took so long,
Sure.
right?
Mhm.
Especially when I was skinny fat in school and I got bullied for being the fat kid in school. I'm kind of glad it happened, because now that I have the six pack, now it kind of feels better. You know, it
Yep.
feels like, as like I see that fat kid in pictures, and I see like I'm nothing like him anymore. How do you how do you look at your old self, your past self? Maybe
Sure.
some fuck ups that you had, or maybe what's like one piece of advice they would give a 18-year-old Sam?
Yeah, exactly. That's a good thing. You get that question. You're like, what would you tell? It's like, my life is so chaotic. I can't even remember what that time period was like. And
Mm,
I can imagine it's very hard to relate because as you go on and go on, like if I was in your position,
mm,
18 myself, um, it's very hard because he had to have gone through all of those things. Like if I made it any different, it would have changed the outcome now. But let's just say
mm,
if I could change some stuff and it kept the outcome today, the same outcome, I would have said that for him, it's yeah, just learning more and getting into
mm.
spirituality. There's no real thing to say. It's just like you look back and you're like everything that happened had to have happened. It's very hard to just be like, oh, if you did this, you did
Yes.
that, you did this. If I was to say with him, I'd be like, stop being like, I would be like, stop being an idiot and like lock in for trying to better your life. But I was like, try to better your life. Stop relying on other people. Yeah, something like that. Some vague
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, again, when I look back, it's just like, well, I had that epiphany, and that happened for me to be able to be there and there, and I'm like, oh, okay, I had
Mm,
to have been there. I had to have done that. I had to have had that bad stuff. And so, like now, it's like you're 31. It's like you're 18. I'm 31, and our future is going to consist of more bullshit, more problems, more this, more
mm.
that. Cool.
And
But at
it's
the end,
crazy to think that you're 31. You look like 23.
thank you, brother. I
I
appreciate it.
had no idea you were. Yeah, I had no idea you were 31. But
I've
it's also like,
been
the
through it.
future is kind of exciting, as you kind of touched upon. It's like I finally can stop being bitter at the bad things that happen, because now I know. You know what's bad about this? I just gone through a bad season of my life. Now I'm in a good season where I'm making progress in every area of my life. I finally got someone who respects me and I love. That we love
Yep.
each other, etc. Bro, I know that sometime this year, in a month or two, in a couple of months, in half a year maybe, something bad's gonna happen. And I just like I'm trying to enjoy this period, but I'm also a little bit anxious, man. Holy shit, there's gonna be so much shit that I'm gonna be going through the next 5 years. It's gonna be chaotic, but I'm also kind of excited. Like I'm not scared of it anymore.
So,
Like I'm
so,
gonna
so
give you an
I'd
example.
say, don't say bad. Say it as like things that are gonna
Mm,
evolve, like help you evolve, right? So, like when it's
shit.
bad, it's like, oh, like I'm not looking forward to. And when it's like, okay, well, evolution, it's gonna help me evolve.
Mm,
Um, yeah, and then you're like, well, it's like the diamond. The diamond comes from the coal that's put
mm,
into a lot of pressure. So the
mm,
things that I can label all the things that'll happen to you, and all it is that you'll be put under a lot of pressure. That's all.
Holy shit,
It's
that's a good way to
because the
look at it.
coal, it has to go into the compression underneath the earth millions and millions of years to become the diamond. So you're just going to have more instances where more pressure, more deadlines, more things that you're not ready
Mm,
for. But that's how you become ready. That's how you become good at time management. That's
mm,
how you become and evolve. So
mm,
uh, they're actually the things like whatever you went through got you to here, right? So the last 6 months got you
mm.
here. So the next 6 months, whatever you
Yeah.
do, will get you to that next stage. And yeah, will there be hair pulling? Will there be like swearing? Yep, yep, yep. Of course,
Mm.
happens. But then again, it's like if you try to not let that happen, you're also not letting the good things happen.
Mm,
If you're trying to not get rejected
mm.
by girls, no girl will like you. The
Oh yeah,
duality of life has to be accepted in both areas. You have to accept the good with the bad with the
yeah.
good, because without bad, there can't be good. There can't be that thing that you want. Right? Without bad cars or without it breaking down, it's like without things that have happened, you don't want the Lamborghini because it's the pinnacle of what cars were.
Mm,
Um, you know, so
yeah.
so all of these different things. Um, that you have to really accept both the dualities of it. So like, you're like, I know some bad shit's gonna happen. I know some evolving things are gonna happen. It's like, well, bring it on. Let's see if I'm
Mm.
ready for it.
Yeah.
I may or may not be ready. I don't know, but yeah. And so that's how you like level up. You're 18. You're a lot more switched on than I was at 18. And so that's not like, oh, I got to keep ahead. I got to do it at your do it at your race, right? Whatever you're going to be
Mm.
like, okay, well, whatever it is, man. I'm so tapped into your culture and 20-year-olds, 21-year-olds, 22-year-olds that I understand. Like, you want everything yesterday. You see the you see the Brent Scales, and you see the Ben Baders,
Yeah.
the Cardinal Masons. You see the Luke Alexanders. You see the David Hunt. You see all these people that are killing it and crushing it. Who are some other? Yeah, you see the Luke Belmars, you see the Arlen Moores, you
Mm.
see all of these guys, and you're just like, I want that lifestyle. It's like that will come. Remember, they were in your position wanting that lifestyle. There were guys that I used to look up to
Mm.
and be like, damn, I want that. Like I was looking at Casey Neistat. I was looking at Owen Cook, my mentor. I was looking at. We had people like who do we have? We had people that were like running in private jets and shit, and that was like, oh my god, the Kylie Jenners, the Justin Biebers, like they lived that lifestyle. That's what we wanted, right? They were just more celebrity types. Now you've got the kind of the
Mm.
influencer type, and yeah, it's like that'll come. Now I'm living kind of the lifestyle that they were living as well. So it kind of
Yeah.
comes in a while. But you've evolved so much that it's just like, oh yeah, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? What's the next thing? And that's how it happens.
Yeah.
It's like I've got the lifestyle I
Yeah.
want, but for me, I'm trying to level up. There's also like I've got to a level where I've got beautiful girls around me, beautiful relationships. I'm living the life. I've got the business. I've got everything. I've got the friends. I've got the network. I've got the access. I'm going to the craziest parties, and I'm like, okay, what's the next level from here? What takes it to the next level? Because I'm always about that. That's how it got me here. Not being satisfied
Mm.
with what I had and wanting more. That's what got me to the next level.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely, bro. Um, Again, back to the haters, man. I always look at it a different way, man. I always see someone that's where I want to be, and I'm not like fuck them, man. No, I'm always like I'm so happy for them. Like
Yep.
just a sense of joy comes to me, like when seeing somebody do well, like Brez Scales, for as you mentioned, bro.
Mhm.
Guy's 20, making $250,000 a month. I'm like so happy for
Were
him.
you impressed that I dropped that name there? Yeah. as a
Yeah,
as a
bro. Like
31 year old.
Brez is someone that's like even inspiring, you know.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, it's amazing, bro.
Yeah, well, like
I
I'm
got
comparing myself against guys like Rob the Bank, who's like 32,
mm,
33, crushing it, like 10 times in a better league than me. It doesn't mean that like, I'm like, oh
mm,
man, like he's doing so much better. I try to take things that are useful from people. I'm like, how does Rob do his stuff? And it's not in like an
yeah,
envious way or a bitter way. It's like, yo, he's crushing it. How can I take what he's doing and really implement it hard? And that's what the next level is. And
mm,
I'm around all these people as well, and I'm like, what do they do good? I'm and so what I would say with you and like the haters and everything, like basically you need the haters. Sneaker. I was in Romania with
mm,
Sneaker, and I asked him, I was like, yo, how do you deal with the
mm.
haters? I was dealing with that big tweet, and he was like, brother, you need them, you want them, you need like it's part of the
Yeah,
equation. And I'm like, you end up liking it a little bit. You're like, haha, this is good. And obviously, Sneaker's gone into a new era
mm,
of his life where he's going back to his old kind of style. But he was like, you still get
mm,
haters each and every day. With the other guys, they still do that, but you take what's useful from them. A Bruce Lee quote from back in the day. You may or may not. You know Bruce Lee? I don't know if your generation know that. Yeah.
yeah, absolutely, bro.
Okay, cool.
Like, okay, you have to be a complete kid if you don't know who Bruce Lee is.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I don't know. Years are going on. Some people don't even know who Elvis is. It's kind of crazy. Or the Beatles.
Oh, crazy.
Um, yeah, it's crazy. At least you're switched on. But yeah, you take. Bruce Lee said this quote was like, take what is useful, reject what is useless,
Mm,
and everything else is just noise, right, or something like that. But take what's useful from that, and you look at people and you watch them like that
mm,
15-year-old kid. Okay, cool. Like yeah, he's doing that. He's doing that. What's he doing that can help me? So buy into your reality a little bit more. And that's going to be much
mm,
more helpful for you. It's like, yeah, they're all doing that. All of them are doing that shit. What am I doing? How can I be better? And then you're
mm.
going to eventually have, people under you that are going to look at you like you're looking at them. That's the crazy thing in a
Mm.
couple of years, right? If you keep consistent.
Yeah,
So you're like, oh, this is kind of, I like that style. They're asking you for photos, they're asking you things, and that's the cool stuff that you get out of it. But that
you know
comes
what?
down to you've actually helped them in a way.
You know what's crazy? Like, man, even like I can still even look like my brothers and see, like, for example, my first videos, like English isn't my first language.
Okay,
I
well,
had such an accent, such stutter, bro. Like I could, so many words I can pronounce. Now
yeah,
look at it, 2 years later into creating content, I'm like, bro, I speak like fluently English. I see my speech improve so much,
yeah,
and I just like I can't help but smile when looking at
yeah.
those videos. Not a little bit of cringe, but also like a little bit of that kid started it, man. That kid started the whole thing.
It's cringe that it's 2 years old. In about 5 years, it'll be the greatest things you look back on. You're like, wow. Like I
Yeah.
have vlogs from back in the day, and now I sit down and watch them. They're all archived now, and I'm like, wow, look at that. Like it was cringy when you were doing it, but
Yeah.
now 8 years later, I have the moment that I met my best friend on camera. I have the moment, the first day we ever hung out, because I was
Mm.
vlogging, and now that is like such a treasure for us. I have videos with my
Yeah.
my grandfather now when he was able to, like, he's gone now, but
Mm.
I have those memories. So it's always a thing. You always like, it's a cringe in a couple of years after even, but 5 6 years you're like,
Yeah.
wow, these are so precious to have.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, man.
I want to ask you the last question about girls. Then I want to
Sure.
get in some rapid fire questions. Um, what was your worst date ever?
Oh man, that's that's such a like a beginner
Uh,
kind of question. I don't know, man. Like I'm like we're I've been on a lot of them. I think yeah, like I did go on one date where I pulled up to the girl's house to pick her up, and she went to the restaurant, so we're now like 45 minutes away from each other. That was really annoying. I was like, man, we get there and she's like waiting for me another 45 minutes to get there, and it was
oh
raining, it
boy.
was pissing down, and it was just a weird date all around, and she got like super drunk. I don't know. There's heaps of different things. It's like, I don't know. If you would say like my worst experience like with girls, like I don't I like that. I'll say the worst and the best, right? So the worst is kind of like those miscommunications. You're not really vibing. You don't have a great time, and it's very awkward. And you're just like, and then you're like, I don't even know if I like this girl. You're like, this girl's kind of weird. The best
Mm.
examples, which I love to talk about, like it's kind of like the red pill. I hate talking about bad examples. The best examples that I've had is like some girls that have opened my reality to new things. Like I used to be, I remember one girl that I was in a relationship with. I used to be such a picky eater. I used to like eat nothing, and she would cook for me and force me to eat whatever she made. She was like, it's either this or starving, and I was like, she made my food, I better. And
Mm.
over the years, she developed like a very big palette of foods that I love to consume. And now every meal would have something that she helped me or introduced to me. So every day I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful and blessed I
Mm.
had that relationship with that girl, because and that was all from learning how to cold approach, learning how to build a circle, building out network,
Mm.
and so I've had experiences that have actually enriched my life, and each and every
Mm.
day have enriched my life because of it. So you can
Yeah.
have some amazing experiences with girls. You can have some terrible ones as well. Like the girl breaking up with me, you think that almost end up killing me, but it's just like you can have some amazing experiences, and that's kind of the
Yeah.
that's like the catch 22. You can have amazing ones, you can
Mm.
have brutal ones, but it's you're going to grow from the relationship either way, and that's kind
Mm.
of the best thing. I think that's why people enter it, so that they can grow as people, whether you stay together or not, whether it's this or that. You grow as a person, and that's like the end of the job. I think if
Yeah.
people say like what's the meaning of this existence, what's the meaning of life, I would say it's just like to learn and experience, whether it's good, bad, indifferent, up, down, side to
Mm.
side, left, right, whatever it is. It's just learning, experiencing, and I think that
Mm.
that's just giving information back to the collective consciousness, giving information back to
Mm.
source energy, to God, to these creations of the world. And if you can do that, there's no right or wrong answer, but there's just an experiences that we go through. So
Yeah.
I think, especially in relationships, they're just such an accelerant of that as well. That's why I love them.
100%. Man, I'm just gonna quickly tell this one story because that
Sure.
just came in my mind, man. I fucked up big time one
Oh,
time,
you're fine.
man. Last summer, man, and I learned a couple of lessons in this one. So I met the girl at the gym in the evening time, right? Just worked in with her, asked
Mhm.
her if I can work in with her. Started a conversation with her, like what's her name, etc. She was 23, right? I was 17, right? I told her I'm 18, whatever, and asked like if she's doing anything after this, and asked her if she doesn't want to go grab some food right after this. And man, I shouldn't have done this. So I take a girl for dinner that you just met, right, on like a first date. That's so silly, right? But anyways, I did, and since I wanted to impress her or whatever my idea was, I took her to a really nice restaurant that I've been to a couple of times before, but it was close to the gym. So I had a conversation with her, spent some money on her, or like for some good meal, and after that conversation, I spent like half an hour with her there, something like that. And then she called her boyfriend to come pick her up. And I was like, okay, so went for a girl that was 6 years older than me, took her for a dinner date for the first time after knowing her for a few minutes. Like, bro, like you don't take girls for the first day for dinner, man. Like, I don't know what came to mind. And I didn't even ask if she has a boyfriend or whatever, right? And I was like, bro, so many mistakes in them that I now laugh at, but I'm kind of glad it happened because it was funny, right?
Okay.
So I
Yeah.
spent all my money on a girl that had a boyfriend that came to pick her up. So I fed another man's girl. Like, like man, it was a funny
Pretty
story, man.
rough. Oh well, at least
Yeah,
it taught you a lesson, and then now you ask if
yeah,
you got a boyfriend.
yeah.
Taught you a
I
lesson.
still laugh about it,
That's the
man.
craziest thing.
It's
Those
funny.
experiences, like here's the crazy thing, like that, like it costs you 50, $100, whatever it is. Best lesson you could have
Mm,
learned. Now it's going to help you for the next 20
yeah,
years. Like those lessons are great.
yeah,
You learn them like again. It's like anything. You got to
yeah.
learn them. You got to have an emotional anchor to them as well, like you did. And
Mm,
when they have an emotional anchor, they're just like so fucking much
yeah.
more a memory. You
I
know.
just quickly want to say, man, so many guys think that they have to impress girls. Where the best dates I've ever had with girls was a gym date as a first date or a coffee. It's cheap as fuck, or like and just a gym date or a coffee date. It's like it's the simplest thing, bro. And these have been the best girls. The girls I've tried to take out for the restaurant or whatever on the first date, I never heard from those girls again. So this was like another thing that I
As
kind
you
of
get
like.
older, that idea will change for sure.
Mm,
For sure.
I suppose
Dinner
also
dates are for me. They're the only date I go on. Basically, it's kind of crazy.
as a first date.
Of course, yeah,
Really?
absolutely, yeah, for sure.
Wow.
Well, you have to
Interesting.
understand. It's like again, I'm older, a lot older than you. So 18, yeah, the gym and the
Mhm.
thing. Girls haven't gone on many dates like that, so they're very excited. Like, oh my god! So your age range is between like 18 and 20, 21, maybe 22, if that. So I'm
Mhm.
like 21 to 26, maybe anything like that. So they've gone on dates, right? So I don't mind
Mhm.
dinner because I'm like I'm already getting food. I'm like may as well just have a cute girl
Ah,
with
yeah,
me. So like yeah, like if I was to
yeah.
say I wouldn't take a girl on a first date to like the nightclub. That would be a bad first date.
Oh
That'd be
yeah,
very
that.
first.
Oh.
Can't talk, can't do anything, or the movies. That's like the one they used to
Mm.
like tell you to do.
Also, yeah.
Terrible.
Again, also, yeah.
But yeah, like
Those are bad.
for sure. Like yeah, you could definitely take them on a first date, like a coffee date or a gym date. Yeah, I definitely know that for sure. I just in the way I am in life, it's like I'm already going
Mm.
to get food, may as well bring her. different
Interesting.
phases of life as well. So it'll all
Yeah.
change.
Anyways, I wanted to get into the rapid fire questions before we wrap up.
Sure.
Ready? So, what do your haters say the most?
Then I'm short, which is kind of hilarious. I'm like, yeah, I know I am. Nulls
Mm.
that pretty quick.
What's the best advice you've been given?
The best advice I've been given is do less, think more.
Mm. What's the worst advice someone has given you?
Um, the worst advice: everything's hard. You have to struggle for everything, and nothing's worth it at the end. Come on.
Mm. Do you have a favorite quote?
A favorite quote. Um, not really, but like let's just say that. Let's see if I can do a quote. That thing is just like, yeah, I think that Bruce Lee quote. Take what is useful, reject what
Mm.
is useless.
Yeah. How would you describe yourself in 3 words?
Uh, Confident, aspirational, and slightly crazy.
Mhm. What's next for you?
Building my company to connect entrepreneurs, 7, 8, 9 figure entrepreneurs, with the rest of the other guys, as well as build a lifestyle, build this system that I've created, and give them the system and get them the relationships that they want.
That's amazing, man. Simon, it's been a pleasure having you
Oh,
on
man.
here. Where can people find you?
They can look up my name, so it's Sam, and then my last name is Matheson, Matheson. They can go there. I have free school communities. I also, if they want to join my program, there's a application form that they can fill out. And if you
Mm.
get through the application, then you can come on board. And yeah, man, on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, everything like that, anything like that, my man. I appreciate it.
Amazing. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. And this is mine. God bless y'all. See y'all on the next one.